Hey watercolor artists, today is a beautiful day to paint and it is almost Mother's Day. So it could be a 2-for-1, a card for her and maybe some art therapy for you because of her. I took a look at 2 different colors and kind of different styles of the peonies. I think I've settled on this color, but you guys can do, this would be just putting in a little more corally into it. I'm going for a little light peach, really light peach. We're gonna have, it's a really simple drawing. We don't need a traceable for it. I have a 5x7 and I just made a vase shape. Just do your best to make a symmetrical vase, whatever. You could do it squared off to go against to contrast with the peonies, but I'm just going with a regular old vase. And then a circle shape here, and a puffy oval shape here, and a circle here. So we have these, so this is gonna be the bud, this is gonna be the larger peony shape, and then this one is going to be the half, sort of like the half peony open, like this one. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get that going, and then we want to really erase most of that. I'm just having that there for a guideline. Guys, think about, if you've seen them in person, think about how gorgeous peonies are and how they're cupped. Lots and lots of layers of petals cupping around the center. Similar to like a magnolia or something else. So we kind of have to show that. So it's super daunting. So good for us for trying this. It's not the easiest flower to paint in watercolor for sure, but I found a way to kind of work in a couple of things. One of them is going to be to preserve our white space. And that is huge in watercolor, and that we're going to be really conscious of in doing this. Okay guys, get your jar of water ready. I also have a number 6, a 4, and a 2. Princeton, Neptune, use whatever you have. I have Daniel Smith paint, you can use anything. The paper is the most important if you are gonna splurge. So get yourself some really good paper that has a great amount of absorption and really helps you, especially as a beginner. That's huge. Okay guys, let's take and set up the shapes of our peonies. So we're gonna take a really loose mixture here. We're gonna do this all kind of loose. Let's get like a 50-50 mixture of our color and water. And let's start with our round one. And we're gonna make seashell sort of shapes, like almost like little fan shapes back here. And then we'll do another one. And we don't want to do too much overworking our brush. We want to get too much going in there. Just a couple of little tiny segments. And then I want this one back here. I'm just going to make a little bit of an extra, hinting at an extra flower leaf petal back here. See you guys, I am intentional. Look, I'm leaving all of this white space. Don't forget to do that. It's super important with this one. Okay, I'm dipping back in my water, back in my mixture, and I'm gonna be conscious of leaving a huge gap here because that's where we're gonna have the stamen. And so let's make another sort of petal shape. Let's wave the top edge here because these are really kind of fun, wavy edged petals. And we can even leave a little white in the middle of our petal. All that, see, the more white, the better. But definitely towards the top and the sides, we're leaving all these spaces. Now down here, let's do like a wide sort of roughly C shape over here. Okay, we have that. And then we'll do that same over here, like a wide roughly C shape. And now we're gonna do 3 petals at the bottom, coming out and coming towards us. So let's sort of start those where this is the bottom of our cup. And let's do one coming out this way. We're gonna make them irregular. I'm just wiggling my brush around and not making too much of a brush stroke here. And then let's do another one. And these do not have to be touching much. They can be their own little separate things. And then I'm gonna make one that kind of comes off here. So we've got sort of 3 these little wavy things. Now let's go back while this is all pretty wet and tap some more concentrated of that peach color towards the bottom. And this is the bottom of these. See, this is all like a little cup. So this is the bottom and that's the bottom. And then we're gonna tap in there. And then we're going to also tap here and help spread that down a little bit this way. So I'm gonna do, not only dab it, I'm going to also spread it a little bit forward with my brush and help it forward. And I'm going to get some more and make sure we're really concentrating that dabbing at the edge here, at the bottoms of these petals. So you see that? And then we will come back with one more layer. Also just tiny, I'm gonna put a little line back in here, but I want that to be so tiny. Super tiny. Okay, I'm happy with that for now. And let's do that exact same, doesn't it kind of look like a cinnamon roll? You know, the top with the cinnamon on the cinnamon roll? Well, thinking that's what I have to do after this. We're definitely gonna make some cinnamon rolls. Okay, I need more paint. I've already run out. I have already run out. And now this one. Okay, let's do the back. And same what we did, but let's do a light little shell shape and wiggle that back edge for yourself there. And then wiggle, same thing, wiggle next to it. And then we've got our two starting out here. And then let's do a really, really light couple of wiggles just right here and here. Let me get up in there so you guys can see. And we are going to do the same thing, but we're leaving less of a space here for the statement. We don't need as large of a gap because this one isn't showing as much. Okay, let's make a couple wide C's to kind of bringing this all together. And then that is it for there. And let's tap into the bottom. Tap into the bottom of these. And we're gonna let that go. Okay, let's do our bud. I'm gonna move you over here. Okay, our bud is super cute. We're gonna leave, get the watery mixture. And we are going to be sure to be conscious to leave some white space in there. See, I'm specifically leaving a bunch of white space in there to separate. See? To make that really evident in there. While we have it there, let's dab in. You guessed where, guys, at the bottom, so we can make it a little darker down there. And we could do one tiny dab up here, really small. Okay, guys, we need to let that dry. But while we let it dry, we could be working on our vase. So super fun. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna outline this with the 6 and then I'm gonna work with the 4. So let's get a little of your blue. I am gonna outline the whole thing. I don't want it to look cartoonish, but let's go just outline it. It's pretty wet, just wet so that it moves really well on the paper. Whatever shape you use for your vase, just a really light outline. And then this is the fun part. You guys think about what kind of design you want to put in here. I think that for sure, let's have a couple of lines up here just to differentiate like the top from the rest of the design. And then down here, maybe we could have a little vertical lines going so that'll kind of look like the bottom. And then what we do in there is totally up to us. What do you think? I think maybe we can do just a little wavy, be nice. We could do little stripes up here too to make this look like it's kind of banded. It's maybe another line up here. Kind of geometric, maybe dots. Whatever you guys feel like. I think maybe some wavy lines might be nice. And then keeping space for maybe that we could write Happy Mother's Day if we want to. So I'll leave a space maybe here and here. So this will be where we could do Just some waves. Same thing here. And then maybe we can do just like a simple line of leaves. Maybe we could do some dots in here. And then we'll do kind of a, not a wreath, but just kind of like a fit. See, I'm just doing kind of alternating lines there. And I'll do that over here too. And then that will be just a place for us to add in some leaves and stuff. Make it look like a little foliage. Whatever you guys do, honestly, whatever you feel like. This can be geometric, you can make it organic, whatever you feel like. This is just for fun. Okay. And then you can dab in a little bit more blue, like to the base of a couple of these little leaves that you have. So or whatever you have, so that we have a little variation there in the lines, here and there. Okay, and then you guys just see where else you think you might need something. Maybe you can outline your dots and circles. I think this is pretty cute. While we're doing this, we're serving two purposes. We're letting our layer dry up here. Look how cool that's drying. I love it. It's coming out great. Are you guys surprised how easy it can be to just get the hint of layers? Just by leaving white. We're not actually painting layers, adding gouache, doing all sorts of negative painting, doing anything really super crazy. I'm gonna make a line through this to connect this now. Okay, I'm happy with that. We can thicken a little bit. We'll add a little bit of a shadow. Maybe while it's wet, we should do that. I'm gonna put a touch of brown with my blue. Okay guys, so I'm making kind of a bluish gray, and I'm gonna make a little more of that, and I'm gonna get that in down here at the base of the vase. Just a little bit, and then I'm gonna add a little bit at the side. I'm just dragging it over, even over. I'm not dragging it too hard because we just painted that, but it's okay. I'm gonna let some of that bleed in. And just give that a little bit of a shadow over there. That's all we need really. And maybe the tiniest bit inside edge of this one. And the tiniest at the top edge of this whole thing. Okay, how does that look? Oh my gosh, I love it. Are you ready? I think we're ready. Touch it gently and see. Yeah, we're ready. We're gonna go ahead and add our next deepening of the color. So go back to your peach. This time we also want it fairly wet, like a 50-50, maybe a little bit more paint this time than water. I'm going to dab it off. So I don't want it going everywhere, guys. Okay, here we go. We're dabbing this color into the base again. Right into there. This is just the very, very, very base. And we're letting that spread a little bit more. Okay, we're going all the way, and this is where it's against like the cup. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure all of that is pretty dark. And then we can do a little in there. Definitely a little in there. Okay, now I'm gonna take clean water and I'm going to do one more little touch, dab the edge of this and let that spread a little bit down. Look guys, I got clean water and I'm just touching and pushing up a tiny bit. I don't wanna agitate a lot of the paint that's underneath, but I'm wanting to add a little bit more of a spread there. I'm trying not to do too much with the brush, except just give it a path to follow. See? I wanted to follow this little path here of water. So I'm going to touch it and let that water kind of come down with it. The watercolory water. See how that's doing for us? That's looking awesome. Okay, let's do the same thing over here. We have some here. We're doing at the base, remember. Do some at the base here. A little bit inside here. A little over here. Remember, I'm going to avoid this a little bit. I could put a little bit. It's wet, but I just want to put a little at the bottom there. And then we can add here. Get your clean water. And we're going to add a little bit here so that it can go up for us. Up into the petal. Okay, and I'm gonna add just a little, like the lightest little addition over here, really light, and maybe just a little something here. See that? Just a hint that there's even something more there. And I'm gonna do that on my bigger one. And on my bud, I'm gonna add one line up here. This is the lightest that I possibly could have. It's mostly water with the smallest touch of that peach. You see, guys, it's barely visible. Barely. I have a little pencil I want to get off there. Okay, then let's do our last bits of strengthening inside that bud. Down to the bottom. Maybe here. Okay. Guys, it's looking amazing. Are you guys ready for greenery? Are you ready? Look, if you're gonna write the Happy Mother's Day, you could write it in here, Happy Mother's Day. I'm not right now, but I might do it when I take a picture and film it or post it. Okay, I'm getting my green. We're gonna also be conscious of leaving some white space with this. This is kind of flopped over. This should be here, so we're gonna like kind of make it go really curving over there. It's kind of random, but that's how it's gonna go. These need to be strong enough. These are pretty substantial flowers, so make sure they're not like little tiny stalks. This one can spread a little here. And I'm using my, what do I have now? 6, I think. And you can leave some white in some places. You can have some of that mingle in a little bit there. And then I would like to do with our bud, we're going to do a little C-stroke to the side, C-stroke to the side, and a couple of strokes there. And then I'm just going to put that one in. This one could use a little thickening on the stem. And then we're gonna do a couple of leaves and we're about to call it a day. Let's get, I'm gonna get a little sap green and add that. This has a little bit more yellow tone because I had a blue mixed in before. And I'm just gonna make the simplest of the simple leaves here. Let's just do real simple. I'm gonna add some more blue in there, get rid of some of the yellow tone. I don't want it. I do not want it. And I'm gonna make some of them really light, just like sort of background. And we can do just a couple of things that are just like stems, just a little greenery coming out just to balance out our little thing. We can go back here. Perfect. So we're just making the bouquet a little bit, the arrangement a little bit better. And put a little stem over here, a little leaf. Couple of light ones, leaving a little bit. See, I left a little white in between these two leaves just to make that a little contrast. And what else do we need, guys? You know what, we could go crazy and do like a little just like little dabs of almost dots, you know what I mean, almost like eucalyptus. I just feel like it needs some texture. So that's what I'm gonna do now. You guys, if you don't want it, you don't need it. But I'm just doing like, see what I'm saying? Just dotting it, little roundish things either side of a stem. Because I feel like it might need it. And then just have it be so random. And then over here, same. I'll add those little circles to this. Maybe a little over here. I'm now just dabbing my brush on, dotting it. I'm making some random, I don't even know what this is. I don't even think this exists in nature, but guys, it does now. Fabulous. Okay. Let's take a little bit of the green and a little bit of the blue, and I'm gonna add a couple of little accent areas, darkening areas, just in a couple of places. Okay, and we have one last thing to do, y'all, and this is the fun one. This is to get our yellow. I'm gonna get a small brush. Grab your yellow. This is super fun. Remember, I have a really bright egg yolky yellow color. So I have Hansa yellow that I put in a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay, for this one, just strokes, that's it. Tiny dabs for the stamen in the middle. And we don't want much of this one showing because it's over. This one more can show because we're seeing more of it. So little lines of it, and it can go a lot across. And we'll add a little brown to that, and then we'll be all set. I'm not gonna do any in the bud because it's all closed up. Okay, let's get some brown on top of that in some areas. I'm making this not super wet. This is pretty thick so that it all kind of stays put where I'm putting it. Just dab in brown where you think it would look good. I don't really want it to look like seeds. I'm trying to get it like the stamens where they have the pollen at the top. I don't have a reference picture for this. I've been looking at them so long, I just kind of remember, but really y'all, the best practice is to be working with the reference picture. I'm gonna throw in a little yellow in a couple places here now. Okay, and then the final look. I hope you guys love it. You can definitely put in the wording or whatever you'd like down here. I think that would look great. Hope you love it. Okay, guys, have a fabulous rest of your day. Keep your mojo flowing. I can't wait to see you in the studio next time.